A petty officer is a non-commissioned officer in many navies and is given the NATO rank denotion 06. They are equal in rank to sergeant in the British Army and Royal Air Force. A petty officer is superior in rank to leading rate and subordinate to chief petty officer, in the case of the British Armed Forces. Origins: the modern petty officer dates back to the Age of Sail. Petty officers rank between naval officers and most enlisted sailors. These were men with some claim to officer rank, sufficient to distinguish them from ordinary ratings, without raising them so high as the sea officers. Several were warrant officers, in the literal sense of being appointed by warrant, and like the warrant sea officers, their superiors, they were usually among the specialists of the ship's company. The Oxford English Dictionary suggests that the title derives from the Anglo-Norman and Middle French petty, meaning of small size, small, little. Two of the petty officers' rates, midshipman and master's mate, were a superior petty officer with a more general authority, but they remained no more than ratings. However, it was quite possible for a warrant officer, in his role as a superior officer, to be court-martialed for striking a midshipman. This is because both were regarded as future sea officers, with the all-important social distinction of having the right to walk the quarter-deck. Midshipmen wore distinctive uniforms, masters' mates dressed respectably, and both behaved like officers. The master's mate rating evolved into the rank of sub-lieutenant, and midshipman evolved into naval cadet. Canada: there are two petty officer ranks in the Royal Canadian Navy. Petty officer, second class is equivalent to a sergeant, and petty officer, first class is equivalent to a warrant officer. Petty officers are normally addressed as Petty Officer Bloggins, or PO Bloggins, thereafter as PO. The first class and second class designations are normally only used when such a distinction needs to be made, such as on a promotion parade or to distinguish two petty officers with similar names but different ranks. The NATO rank denotion for petty officer, second class is 06. The NATO rank denotion for petty officer, first class is 07. India: a petty officer or a currency AAAN, a currency YA, currency AAA, currency AAAN euro is a non-commissioned officer in the Indian Navy, equivalent to the NATO rank enlisted grade of OR5. They are equal in rank to an assistant sub-inspector of police in the Indian Police Services, or sergeant in the Indian Army and Indian Air Force. A petty officer is superior in rank to a leading rate and subordinate to a chief petty officer, as is the case in the majority of Commonwealth navies. A petty officer has the ability to work as a leader, capable of taking charge of a group of personnel, and taking roles in the training and recruitment of new members of the Indian Navy. United Kingdom: in the Royal Navy, the rate of petty officer comes above that of leading rating and below that of chief petty officer. It is the equivalent of sergeant in the Royal Marines, British Army and Royal Air Force. Petty officer is the lowest of the senior rating grades. Petty officers, like all senior rates, wear fore and aft rig. United States: the title of petty officer in the United States Navy and United States Coast Guard has 3 separate classes, and 3 senior grades. Petty officer, first class is equivalent in pay grade to Staff Sergeant in the United States Army and Marine Corps, and Technical Sergeant in the United States Air Force. Petty officer, second class is equivalent in pay grade to Sergeant in the United States Army and Marine Corps, and Staff Sergeant in the United States Air Force. Petty officer, third class is equivalent in pay grade to Corporal in the United States Army, Corporal in the United States Marine Corps, and Senior Airman in the United States Air Force. See also, United States Navy enlisted rates, List of United States Navy ratings, Starshina. References